Saludos mi gente, mi nombre es Oniel Batista, desde la arena más famosa del mundo, Madison Square Garden, Nueva York. Detrás de mí están los Dallas Mavericks que visitan a los Knicks de Nueva York. Lucas Duche con sus muchachos que están visitando a los Knicks Walker. Kemba Walker se une al equipo de Dallas, ya que tuvieron que dejar cortar los servicios del argentino Facundo Campazzo para poder hacer espacio a Kemba Walker. También está detrás de mí uno también que es de aquí de la casa, que jugó con este equipo, Tim Hardaway Jr., que pertenece al equipo de Dallas. El equipo de los Knicks de Nueva York está en el otro lado de la cancha practicando para el encuentro de hoy. Así que Lucas Duche y sus muchachos tratan de ganarle el partido de hoy. Así que estamos en NBA desde acá, desde Madison Square Garden. Así que no se muevan, que traeremos todas las iniciativas, todo lo que pase, desde los camerinos. También estamos esperando a Lucas Duche, a ver si podemos conversar. Vamos a ver cómo tratar, porque todavía no se mueven esto. También tendremos a los managers de ambos equipos en rueda de prensa, tanto antes del juego y después del juego. Así que no se muevan con la máquina deportiva. Pasamos y regresamos.
La máquina deportiva, la factoría a nivel mundial de los deportes.
We'll make those minutes that Norman will do.
Everyone. Maybe give some more to Luca. Like 48 minutes. No, it would be, you look at JaVale, Hardy, to have the opportunity to play this afternoon, so we'll see. But right now, JaVale will fill those minutes and we'll go from there.
Jason, you have a top 5 defense in the league. Your offense is 22nd. How do you get your offense this week to where your defense is?
Yeah, it's really simple. I know sometimes we try to make it a little bit complex. We gotta make shots. We create a lot of wide open looks. Gotta make them, but besides that, we gotta make free throws. Those are wide open too. And so we gotta step up to the line and make them. We can't shoot 47% and think we're gonna win a game like we did in Detroit when we get to the free throw line. So it comes down to putting the ball in the basket. The guys are getting great looks. I thought we scored over 120-some points in Detroit. Puts you in a position to win the game. Unfortunately, we didn't.
Anything surprise you about what is happening? Jalen running his own team for the first time.
No, I think there's no surprise. He's one of the best players in this league. He's underrated. He's a winner. I've said this when we played Brooklyn. Answer the questions about JB. That he's a winner. He's won in college. He's going to win on this stage at some point. You look at him averaging 21 points. He's putting his team in a position to win. He can handle the scrutiny that you guys will give him. But I think again, he's just a good young man that plays the game the right way and tries to help his teammates.
Coach, when you have a player like that who's as capable as Jalen is, I mean, obviously you have one of the best players on the planet in Luka, but at the same time, when you have a guy who can average 22 for you, how do you have to reframe your job as a coach to fill that gap as you move forward?
Yeah, I think it's a gap that you, by committee, with JB leaving, you look at, Spencer's having a heck of a year for us. You look at Timmy starting to make shots for us. He's starting to play better. So I think we have to do it by committee. To go back to answering the question, we got to see Brunson without Luka. He did a really good job, not just during the regular season, but during the playoffs. So I think he's showed last year that he can run a team. He showed last year that he can play with a superstar. And so it's just a matter of getting the right pieces around him to help him win. And they got a great coach in Tibbs. So, but for us, it's a committee. And he is missed. Because of the things that he did, not just on the court, but off the court. And you can ask Josh and DP and Maxie, those guys in that locker room when things aren't going well. He was always, someone that was a calming voice to be positive and try to help you out of a slump. Or he took Josh under his wing as a vet to help a younger player get better.
With Luka, going back to your relationship with him, now that you had a couple of years with him, with your career, and then with how talented he is, how do you guys push each other? How do you guys make each other better?
He's way better than I am. So as a player, he does things at a different level. My job is to help. If I see something, a lot of times he's already saw it, so he'll say, "I got it." But the big thing is just to help him, put him in a position to be successful. We'll talk. One of the things he's asked, what can he do more? that's a hard question to answer because he's doing everything for us. I jokingly said I can play 48 minutes and he would be up for that because he wants to help his team win. That's who he is. So, you know, my job is to see things and hopefully put him in a position to be successful. And he's carrying a heavy load, you know, and he accepts that. But that's what makes him one of the best players in the world.
Jason, around this time last year, you guys had a similar record, similar struggles. Do you have reasons to believe that, this season and this team is similar to last season and last team in the way that you were able to, pull out and go on the record?
Yeah, I said it before the season started. This is a different team than last year. We're not built the same. We're built more or less like we were at the beginning of the season last year before we made the trade. Look at our defense wasn't very good either last year. So but guys are working. They're positive in that locker room. We know things will change. Just have to stay the course, and sometimes that's hard. But the big thing is that those guys believe they're getting the shots. You gotta not make them all. Just gotta make half or make a couple just to get this thing going in the right direction. Because they're gonna present themselves tonight when they have those open shots. Can we make them?
Jason, Luke has worked a little bit more off the block this year. Can you tell me about what that's done for his game or what it's done for the offensive role?
He's worked a lot off the block. We've posted him up more than ever. Just looking at a different spot on the floor where he can cause a double team. He's had a lot of success at the post up, but it just shows the flexibility of his game. He can play on the perimeter or he can play inside, which helps generate shots or points for us, and that's what we do.
Jason,
Yes.
when you did a game plan against Jalen, knowing how closely you two worked together last year, what is that experience like? Like, is it quick because you already know what to expect, or do you take extra time because you know what you guys are doing in return, or what the last day or so looked like in terms of coming up with a game plan against him?
Well, he knows what we're going to do, and I think that group in that locker room, I know what he's capable of doing. So we'll be ready for the pivots. We'll be ready for the quick pull-up. I mean, this is a fun game because everyone knows each other, and we'll see if he'll shoot a right-hand layup this afternoon. But it's going to be a challenge for him because it puts a lot of pressure on your defense, and he's playing at a high level right now. So we just got to try to throw different pitches to keep him off balance.
Jason, how's Kemba looked so far, and when do you anticipate him being able to play?
Yeah, Kemba practiced yesterday, looks good. We'll see how he feels today. Hopefully here by next week we'll have a better answer for you, but just doing everything that we've asked him to do. He looks good.
Jason, you guys are 29 offensive rebounding, Knicks are 5th. Just returned Mitch Robinson from injury. Speaking of game planning, what's the process like when you have a player like Robinson you're going up against? You guys need to have time on that offensive class.
Yeah, we have an issue with rebounding, period. So no matter who we're playing, we have to do a better job of creating the missed shot or giving up the offensive rebound. So we talked about this yesterday. Hopefully we have a better outcome where we're not giving up so many offensive rebounds. Because the team that's going to crash. So we have to be physical. We have to do a better job of team rebounding with helping one another. And Robinson is one of those threats that will keep the ball alive. So we got to make sure we have an extra body on him.
Jason, the Knicks team that you played for, it was 10 years ago now, on 54 days. They haven't reached that level since. Do you remember, can you talk about what made that team so successful?
Yeah, I think when you talk about the starts with the head coach, Woody was great. For us, there was a lot of old people on that team, and so he made sure that he didn't practice us too hard. But when you talk about Melo and JR, Melo was having an MVP type season. You look at, I think JR won 6th man of the year. Is that right?
Yes.
My memory's going. So, and then we had a bunch of role players that were just happy to be on the team, and we played well. We enjoyed each other's company. We had a lot of fun on the court. We just fell short against the Indiana team in the playoffs. But it was a lot of fun, and the Garden was rocking. You know, so this is a special place when the team is good and playing at a high level. It's a great place. It's home court advantage, especially if you can do it right now.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks, Jared. Yeah. Just do that. Thanks.
Can you bring us up to speed on the injuries?
Archie's out.
Charges out, okay. Coach, when you go back to the film, you said in the past that you go through the film, you pick out one or two things that you see that you want to implement in practice. What is it that you're seeing right now that you want to pay attention to?
Well, the big thing is the games are coming down to one or two possessions. So like offensively, I think we're doing a lot of good things. I think the movement off the ball, the screening off the ball has been very good. And to try to carry that over to what we're doing on, off the ball defensively, to add more activity to it. So just little things, just concentrate on the improvement and try to get better each and every day.
Coach, I know that you don't pay attention, obviously, to the narratives that are going on, but when there is a game like this where it's Dallas coming in, Jalen's facing his former team, do you ever step back to take a moment to even just appreciate that this is now your guy and that people are talking about it because he's that good?
Yeah, and the thing that you love about Jalen is just, what you see is exactly what you get. That's even keel. He's that way every day in practice. And I think that approach has served him well throughout his career. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, he doesn't get distracted. He's very focused. What's in front of me? This is how I get ready for every game, and that's what I love about him. And it carries over to the rest of our team. His approach it's impeccable.
How does that make your life easier? Because you're the same way, where you focus on the details, the thing that's right in front of you, the day to day.
Well, I think that position, is a leadership position. So I think he's basically a coach on the floor, and it's great for our team. A big responsibility for your point guard is to control and manage the game. And I think he does that extremely well. He has a great feel for it. He's been in a lot of big games. He's been under, scrutiny basically his whole life, and he embraces it. He loves that aspect of it, and that's why I think he continues to get better and better. And he's handled the transition extremely well. And it's exactly what I expected from him. Just knowing him, watching him grow up and become who he is.
You guys are different. Anything offensive rating right now come from last season? Is it as simple as Jalen, or do you see other elements?
That's a compilation, but that's again, I think he's added a lot to it. I think, but also just managing the game, and I think he helps to bring out the best in others. I think the other players have done a lot to help as well. I think the way Julius has moved without the ball has been very helpful for us. The way he's scoring different ways, I think, has helped our offense a lot. The movement, we're still not shooting quite as well as we would like, but we're scoring a bunch. I think we're number one in points in the paint. The offensive rebounding is top 5, getting to the line top 5. So there's a lot of good things that we're doing offensively, and we're scoring plenty. And so just concentrate on the improvement and how can you help the group? So how can you help create quality shots? How can you help our defense be tight and tied together? And so, and we have a lot of young guys that are getting better, and just keep the focus right there. Just keep getting better every day.
Tom, the past few weeks, there's been a lot more traveling and particular carrying calls than we've seen in the past. I was just curious what your thoughts were on the league emphasizing that lately.
No, I'm all for it. I think it's important. I think to carry out the rules of the game, the way the game is intended, because what that does is puts the shift back on focusing on fundamentals. And that comes back to the coaches and the players. And the players are always going to adapt. Our players are as smart as can be. So if they feel the game is being called a certain way, they're going to take advantage of that. But if they'll adjust very quickly. If they're consistent with calling travel, and like some of the plays, like if you're giving an offensive player 3 steps, 4 steps, that's not the way the game was intended to be played. And so we all like where the game is, and there's a lot of freedom in it, but we got to make sure that we're enforcing the rules of the game. And whether it's the travel, whether it's on the free throw shooting, whatever the rules are, that's what everyone's responsibility is.
Coach, what are you learning about your team right now that may be different than what you expected coming into the season?
Yeah, I thought, obviously getting Jalen has changed things for us. We've gotten good point guard play. I think the quality depth at the center position, having 3 guys there that are all real good and young and getting better. So I like that aspect of it. I still think there's a long way for us to go. The consistency that we have to play every night, and we're right there. We just got to do a little bit more. Got to do a little bit more at the end.
See, Tom, what is it like as a guy who made his bones on defense and teaching defense, as the game has changed and how you have had to adapt to the fact that not giving up less than 100 almost never happens anymore? What has that been like for you as far as?
I think that the style of play changes, like decade to decade. There's always rule changes come in, skill level gets better. You look at the 80s were high scoring, 90s were low scoring, 2000 the rule changes came in. So you're always, but what goes into winning is always the same. And so for me, the biggest metric defensively is defensive field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage. That measures something, what you're doing. And so those are things, are you keeping the ball out of the paint? Those are things that you can actually measure. Like some things are being measured by a camera, and technology's been great for the game, but they're judging by the distance. They see someone that they can't tell whether the context of it isn't exact. So sometimes you're drawing conclusions that aren't accurate because of if someone's 6 feet away from someone, they might consider that to be good defense, and I might consider it to be poor defense. And if the shot's not challenged, and they make it, they obviously that one's easy. But if you challenge a shot and it's made, that might go against you. So the context of everything, I think, has to be looked at.
Hey Tom, you talked about the young guys improving. I wanted to ask about one in particular. We're about a fourth of the way through the season here, and Obi Toppin has taken more threes, or rather more of his shots from beyond the arc than ever. Was that change strategically implemented, as part of his development to make him more of a oriented player?
When you look at his college career, you saw the athleticism. He's always had the ability to run the floor. He moves the ball quickly side to side. That's always been there. But I think him evolving into more of a modern stretch 4, we felt that he had pretty good touch, and he's worked extremely hard on his 3. And so we're confident. I mean, you can see it in the free throw. That percentage went up right away. And then we track all his shots in practice, and we saw he was making them very consistently in practice. And now it's transferred over into the games. And people are, the first year they weren't really closing to him. You had to make 1 or 2 before they started closing hard. Now they're flying at him. So, but he's put a lot of work into it. You can tell they're very confident, and I think it serves him well and it serves our team well.
Tom, Luka can score from anywhere, but he's obviously been doing so much out of the post this year. Can you talk about the challenge he presents specifically guarding him down on the block?
Yeah, I think, you're hitting on something. I mean, obviously off the dribble, that part of his game, the shooting part, the pick and roll part, and then when you add in a post up, and he's clever in how he gets there. Sometimes it's off a step up into a back down. Sometimes it's just a back down out of transition. Sometimes it's hitting the wing and getting down in there. So you have to, it's different ways that you have to be prepared to try to make his catch hard. And then once he catches it, he's very clever with the ball. He's a hard guy to pick up rhythm on. He's like herky-jerky, he's clever with the ball, he extends his arms. You have to be disciplined. You have to try to make him play in a crowd, and you can do all those things, and he still has the ability. He's a big-time shot maker. So, and when you really study how he's getting those shots, he gets you off balance, and he creates just enough space to get the shot off, and it's a great shot for him. So, he's an incredible scorer, but the thing that really makes him who he is not only the scoring ability, but it's the passing ability too. So if you're double teaming him, he can beat you with the pass too.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Ya tú sabes que Silvio Chitu lo dice. Hola, soy Silvio Mora y le mando un saludo con mucho cariño para la máquina deportiva. Sí, me gusta la máquina deportiva. Chitu lo dice.